Marissa Caldwell froze as her Louboutins clicked across the marble floor, her 7-year-old son, Ethan, sitting silently with a cleaning lady, whispering in French. "Why are you talking to my son?" Her icy voice shattered the quiet. 2 years without a single word, and now this stranger was filling his head with unfamiliar languages. Everything Marissa believed about Ethan's world crumbled in an instant. What she didn't know was that the real miracle was just beginning, a secret that would rewrite every rule in her gilded life. Subscribe now and smash that like button, because you're about to witness a secret so powerful it will upend everything you thought you knew about autism, privilege, and motherhood. Imagine a humble housekeeper unlocking a child's voice where experts failed. Leave a comment. Would you dare trust a stranger with your most precious gift? Hit the bell and don't blink. This miracle demands to be seen. Marissa Caldwell built her pharmaceutical empire on data, precision, and control, but nothing prepared her for a housekeeper who speaks 9 languages. Elena Vega arrived at the Caldwell mansion 3 months ago, silent and invisible, her blue apron the only sign of her presence. Marissa barely noticed her until today, when she found Elena crouched beside her son, Ethan, murmuring French phrases into his ear. Ethan, 7 years old and diagnosed with severe autism, hasn't uttered a word in 2 years. No specialist, no therapy, no promise has broken his silence until now. Ethan sits cross-legged on the marble floor, eyes locked on a French picture book, his pale blonde curls framing a face frozen in expectation. The staff avoids him. They treat him like an exhibit, an object of pity. His world is divided into routines and silence until Elena enters it. Each morning she sweeps the halls, each afternoon she whispers Spanish greetings while dusting trophies. Each evening she hums an Italian lullaby as she polishes silver. Marissa dismissed her as unqualified, just a cleaning lady who could never understand a boy like Ethan. But Marissa's doubts fracture when Ethan mimics a soft "bonjour, madame" without prompting. Shock ripples through the great hall. Marissa's designer heels echo as she storms in fury and fear warring on her sharp features. "What do you think you're doing?" she demands. Elena stands calm, apron clasped at her waist, voice measured, giving him words that matter. Marissa's world tilts. Who is this woman, and why does she succeed where experts failed? Dr. Aaron Patel, the family's pediatrician, confessed to Marissa that he's never seen a child respond like this. He's skeptical, trained to see regression, to prescribe medication, to write off miracles. But Ethan repeats Spanish greetings with perfect accent counts and German laughs at an Arabic rhyme. Elena's method isn't in any medical journal. It's in her forgotten past as a linguistics professor and a mother fighting to save her own family. Now, the stakes skyrocket. Marissa must choose silence Elena forever or risk everything on a promise of progress. A collision of privilege and hidden expertise ignites the mansion's cold corridors. In 3 minutes, alliances will shift power, will realign, and a secret curriculum will challenge the very definition of ability. Watch closely, because in Elena's quiet lessons lie the keys to a revolution no one saw coming. Elena's dismissal echoed like a verdict. Marissa's voice cut through the corridors. "You're confined to the service wing. No contact with Ethan." Elena nodded, apron still immaculately tied, and retreated to the basement pantry, her sanctuary turned prison. The mansion's opulence felt colder now, each polished surface a reminder of Marissa's power and prejudice. Down below, boxes of canned goods and cleaning supplies became Elena's world. She unpacked her hidden notebook, an academic journal filled with notes on selective mutism and multilingual stimuli. Every evening for 3 months, she'd refined a covert protocol, whispering short phrases in French while dusting, switching to Spanish during dish duty, humming Italian lullabies whenever she polished the silver. She watched Ethan's micro-expressions in her mind, the flicker of recognition, the barely perceptible tilt of his head. That flicker was all she needed. Meanwhile, Marissa convened her inner circle, a team of top-tier therapists and neurologists flown in at great expense. Dr. Denise Sinclair, a child psychologist renowned for her work with autism, reported no progress. "He's regressed," she declared, tapping a chart of stagnant speech metrics. Increased anxiety, more self-soothing behaviors. Medication seems his only path. Marissa pressed her fingers to her temple, a storm of fear and frustration brewing. She refused to accept that her son might be broken beyond repair. Back in the basement, Elena's routine continued under the radar. She traded chores for clandestine therapy sessions, 4 minutes of French flashcards with Ethan's toy cars, 5 minutes of German counting with the mop handle, another vow of Spanish greetings beside pantry shelves. Her heart pounded every time she heard footsteps overhead. What if Marissa discovered her experiment? Yet each risk felt justified by the small victories, Ethan mimicking bonjour under his breath, then hola, then eins, zwei, drei. Dr. Aaron Patel, the family pediatrician, grew curious. He descended to the service wing one afternoon under the pretext of inspecting wine cellars. Instead, he found Elena perched on a crate quietly reciting Italian vocabulary to Ethan. Signore, she coaxed softly. Ethan's lips parted, a tremor of sound. Patel's chest tightened. He'd never witnessed a response so spontaneous. He cleared his throat, startling them both. Elena, he said, voice low. I need to see the footage of this. Elena wiped her hands on her apron and handed him a discreetly recorded clip on her phone, Ethan whispering grazie after she offered him a rag. Patel pressed play again, grazie. Then, as if emboldened, Ethan repeated, prego. Patel's eyes flicked upward, meeting Elena's. Their shared astonishment was electric. He slipped the phone into his coat pocket. Meet me tonight, he whispered. I want to discuss a formal evaluation. That evening, Marissa roared down the hallway, her stilettos striking terror into every staff member's heart. She caught sight of Patel slipping into the basement and followed. She burst through the door. What are you doing here? Patel rounded on her phone in hand. Marissa watched. He played the video. Her jaw clenched as she heard Ethan's clear Italian pronunciation. Her son's voice, her infant's voice, emerged from a cleaning lady's whispers. Impossible, she spat. He's severely autistic. He can't speak. He can't learn languages. Patel paused the clip on Ethan's bright eyes and turned to Marissa. He's responding to linguistic stimuli. I've never seen such rapid progress. Marissa's vision blurred. The walls seemed to tilt. All her carefully curated therapists and specialists had written him off. This uncredentialed housekeeper was rewriting his destiny. In the days that followed, Marissa launched an investigation into Elena's past. She pored over employment records, tax forms, and social media profiles, finding nothing. Yet Elena moved like a ghost, invisible, until her gentle voice unlocked a child's world. Marissa's fury grew with each dead end. How dare a cleaning lady claim expertise no one else possessed? Elena's alliance with Dr. Patel became their lifeline. Under the cover of routine health checks, they conducted formal assessments. Ethan's anxiety scale plummeted. His auditory comprehension scores soared. Patel drafted a preliminary report recommending continued multilingual intervention. He slid it into Elena's hand one dusk in the pantry. This is enough to challenge Marissa's edict. Use it wisely. But Marissa would not yield easily. She summoned Elena to the study, a wall of diplomas and framed certificates behind her desk. Elena entered heart-hammering. Marissa's voice was ice. Explain yourself. You're either a fraud or a genius. Elena squared her shoulders. I'm simply giving Ethan words that resonate with him. You labeled him broken. I see his potential. Marissa's eyes narrowed. Show me proof. Elena produced Patel's sealed report. Marissa skimmed it, each statistic unraveling her convictions. The tension in the room was suffocating, years of expertise confronting a single act of faith. Marissa closed the report and looked at Elena. If this is true, you will work under my terms. Formal therapy approved methods, documented results. Elena inhaled. Agreed, but on my terms too. As they shook hands, the mansion's order shifted. An unspoken alliance formed between privilege and hidden genius. Elena's quiet rebellion had become a fulcrum prying open doors that experts had slammed shut. And high above in the marble halls, a mother prepared to face the most radical lesson of her life, that miracles sometimes wear aprons. Elena closed her eyes and let the cellar's damp chill steel her resolve. Tonight was the night she would reclaim her life and Ethan's. After 3 months of clandestine lessons, She knew she needed a formal strategy to break through the final barrier. First, she called Professor Miriam Delgado at midnight. Delgado's whispered greeting crackled through the phone. "Luisa, is that you?" Elena's heart tightened. Before illness stole her mother and academia labeled her overqualified, she was Luisa Morales, Ph.D., in applied linguistics. Tonight, she reclaimed that name. 10 minutes later, Delgado emailed her the Selective Mutism Multilingual Intervention Protocol, a 30-page blueprint for unlocking speech through patterned language exposure. Next, Elena drafted her own 5-day fluency sprint. Day 1. French immersion, short emotion-laden phrases paired with tactile play. Day 2. Spanish storytelling, simple past-tense narratives about Ethan's favorite toys. Day 3. Italian song cycles, melodic repetition of key verbs. Day 4. German counting games, synchronized with movement to engage his proprioceptive senses. Day 5. Arabic sensory stories rich with textured words to stimulate both hearing and touch. Each day built on the last edging Ethan from whispered syllables to full sentences. She printed the plan, slipped it into her apron pocket, and rose to face the marble staircase. Above the mansion's hearth fires burned cold under portraits of Caldwell ancestors, symbols of a dynasty built on control. Elena clenched her fist. Control would shift tonight. At dawn, Elena whispered Day 1's opening line, "Je t'aime mon petit," as she opened the pantry door. Ethan's hand paused mid-reach. His head tilted. She repeated the phrase softer this time, "Mon petit garçon." For the first time he blinked. His eyes, usually distant, locked on her. Elena's pulse hammered. The tiny crack had appeared. She recorded the moment on her phone, no permission, no fanfare, just a quiet testament. Then she slipped into Dr. Patel's office under the guise of delivering cleaning supplies. She found him poring over Ethan's charts. Elena placed the protocol on his desk. 5 days, she said. Follow this exactly. Patel scanned the pages, brow furrowing. He tapped his pen. If this succeeds, we'll need to present to Marissa, and fast. By midday, Marissa stormed past the study, overhearing key phrases, French immersion, multilingual intervention. She paused, chest-rising suspicion, flaring. But Elena anticipated this. She had emailed a summary of the protocol to Marissa's private account under the subject Ethan's breakthrough plan. In 20 minutes, Marissa's assistant forwarded it. Unopened, Marissa disliked unsolicited plans. Elena predicted this too. That evening, Elena prepared Day 2's puppets and picture cards. She lined them along the service corridor, soft Spanish narration, ready on her phone. As she waited, she rehearsed her opening script. Ethan, ¿quieres jugar conmigo? She exhaled slowly, recalling Delgado's words. Emotion unlocks the lock. On Day 3, Elena tested Italian lullabies during dinner cleanup, weaving verbs into the song Dormo, Sogno, Vivo. When Ethan reached out to touch the piano keys and hummed along, Dr. Patel appeared at the doorway, tears in his eyes. He whispered, "He's responding faster than any case I've seen." Elena nodded, fighting a triumphant smile. By Day 4, the mansion staff buzzed with rumors of Elena's secret lessons. Marissa confronted her, "Show me evidence." Elena guided her motherless son and his skeptical mother into the great hall. She pressed play on a tablet clips of Ethan greeting her in Spanish, counting in German, singing in Italian, all 5 days of progress. Marissa's shoulders slumped. Incredulity gave way to awe. That night, Elena and Dr. Patel convened one last meeting, a joint proposal to Marissa, formalizing Elena's role as lead linguistic therapist and requesting funding for a pilot study. Patel's voice was urgent. Marissa must see this as an expert-backed intervention, not an amateur project. Elena drafted the email, hands trembling. She typed attached protocol progress reports, peer-reviewed articles. Then she hit send. As the clock struck midnight, Elena stood at the top of the marble staircase, looking down at the mansion's silent opulence. Tomorrow, everything would change. A formal invitation would arrive in Marissa's inbox, a choice between preserving her rigid control or embracing a miracle born in the margins. Elena closed her eyes, listened to the hush, and whispered to herself, "For Ethan, I reclaim my voice." The pivot was complete. The plan was set. In less than 24 hours, a single document would upend the Caldwell dynasty's misconception of disability and launch a revolution of language healing and hidden genius. Elena moved through the mansion like a shadow, each step calibrated, each breath timed to the syllables she would whisper. It was day 1 of her 5-day fluency sprint, and every moment counted. She began at dawn, kneeling beside Ethan's favorite rocking horse in the service corridor. Her voice was soft but deliberate. Je t'aime, mon petit. At first, Ethan stiffened, eyes locked on the floorboards. Elena repeated the phrase this time, pairing it with gentle tactile play, brushing her fingertips across the horse's mane as she spoke. His head lifted. His blue eyes, so often vacant, searched hers. That quiet glance felt like a victory. She thumbed her phone recorder once. The cursor blinked. By lunchtime, Elena had moved to the conservatory, setting out a simple board game. She narrated each move in Spanish. Tira el dado, Ethan. Que numero ves? He rolled the die, clattering to a stop. Cuatro, he murmured so quietly it could have been wind. Elena's heart thundered. She pressed play on her hidden recorder. The word was clear. Mid-afternoon, Marissa burst into the service stairwell. Her designer heels rattled as she demanded to know why Elena was lecturing her son in a foreign tongue. Elena froze the board game in midair and met Marissa's glare evenly. "I'm giving him words that resonate with his mind," she replied. Marissa's jaw clenched. She turned on her heel without another word. That night, Elena laid out day 2's materials: puppet characters, labeled with simple past tense Spanish verbs, illustrated flashcards for comio, jugo, corrio. She tucked the set into her apron pocket and headed to Ethan's quarters under the guise of delivering fresh linens. Inside, she crouched beside him and began weaving a story in Spanish about a brave little fox who found her way home. Ethan tilted his head, listening. When the puppet fox corrio rapido, he repeated rapido, as though testing its texture. Elena's chest tightened. On day 3, she brought in melody. While polishing the silver in the grand dining hall, she hummed an Italian lullaby embedding verbs into the refrain Dormo, sogno, vivo. Down the hall, Ethan's steps echoed. He paused by the pianoforte, eyes bright. As she transitioned to Sogno un mondo nuovo, he reached out, pressing a key. A single note chimed. He hummed back, flat, but unmistakably, a response. Elena pressed a finger to her lips, signaling silence, then slipped away. Dr. Patel reviewed her logged recordings that evening and could contain himself no longer. He cornered Marissa in her study phone in hand. "Listen," he urged, playing a clip of Ethan's Italian humming. Marissa's expression flickered from dismissal to shock. She turned the device off and stalked toward the service wing. Elena caught her eye in the hallway. For a heartbeat, their gazes locked in a battle of wills. Day 4 arrived with tension at a fever pitch. Elena set up a movement game in the courtyard, German counting paired with hopping on numbered tiles. As she coaxed Eins, zwei, drei, vier, Ethan's bare feet, pressed the stones in time. On the 4th hop, he grinned a quick radiant flash and whispered, "Vier." Elena barely contained her tears, but rumors spread faster than language. By midday, the mansion staff was buzzing. "The housekeeper is teaching the boy Latin. I heard French was just a ruse." Marissa intercepted Elena in the corridor. "Enough games," she snapped. "I want results, or you leave." Elena's calm cracked just slightly. "Results are in progress," she shot back before slipping away. Under cover of an errand to fetch cleaning supplies, Elena slipped into Dr. Patel's makeshift office, once a linen closet now lined with progress charts. She spread out her 5-day sprint worksheets, annotated with Ethan's results: French comprehension, plus 30%, Spanish recall, plus 25%, Italian vocalization, plus 40%, German coordination, plus 50%. Patel scanned them wide-eyed. "We present this to Marissa tonight," he said. That evening, Elena gathered her courage and knocked on Marissa's study door. She carried a tablet loaded with playback of each day's breakthroughs: Ethan's initial bonjour, the soft quattro, his first hum in Italian, the whispered German count. Marissa sat behind her mahogany desk, arms folded. Elena pressed play. Silence swallowed the room as Ethan's voice filled it. The boy who hadn't spoken in 2 years now spoke in 4 tongues. Marissa rose pale as marble. Her voice was barely a whisper. How Elena met her steady. He wasn't broken, just unheard. In that charged moment, a small crescendo built Marissa's shoulders, relaxed disbelief giving way to wonder. She leaned forward, touching the tablet screen as though she could physically bridge the gap. "Continue," she said. "I'll support you formally." Elena nodded, relief and triumph coursing through her veins. The minor climax rippled outward. Dr. Patel exhaled, staff exchanged astonished glances, and Ethan, standing by the doorway, smiled shyly, his first true unguarded smile. The execution phase had delivered its shocks, a child's fractured silence repaired by whispered syllables. A mother's iron will softened by undeniable proof. A cleaning lady's clandestine lessons elevated to approved therapy. Yet the greatest moment awaited Ethan, emboldened, would soon deliver the full sentence that would shatter every last doubt. 7 minutes remained in this act, enough for one final spark before the true climax. Elena walked away from Marissa's study into the hush of the marble halls, her heart pounding like a herald for what was to come. Ethan's footsteps echoed down the marble hallway before Marissa even saw him. She turned, startled, as the boy who hadn't spoken in 2 years marched straight to her, eyes blazing with intent. Dr. Patel hovered behind a tablet, ready. Ethan stopped 3 feet from Marissa and inhaled deeply. His voice, soft but steady, cut through the silence. "Mom, I love you." Marissa's breath caught. The words were in perfect English, clear and unhesitating. She reached out as if to touch him, then realized her hand shook. Ethan's confession hung between them like a fragile bridge. Dr. Patel tapped the screen. A montage played, Ethan greeting Elena in French, counting in German, singing an Arabic rhyme describing a puppet's adventure in Spanish, and then, in last week's clip, calling Marissa Mamita with a radiant smile. Each snippet underlined the boy's astonishing multilingual progress. Marissa sank into a gilded armchair gown pooling around her. "How?" she whispered, eyes darting to Elena, standing by the doorway. Elena's apron was gone, replaced by a simple blouse, her unassuming transformation mirroring the evening's revelations. Elena stepped forward, voice calm. He needed words that resonated. "You labeled him broken. I simply gave him languages that made sense to his mind." Marissa closed her eyes, tears welling. Memories of therapy sessions and sterile clinics flooded her pages of assessments, chemical prescriptions, specialists' dismissals. All of it had failed to unlock her son's voice. Now, a woman she'd once seen only as help had cracked the code. Dr. Patel spoke gently. "Marissa, these recordings are clinical evidence. Ethan's anxiety index has dropped by 60%. His auditory comprehension is off the charts. I recommend formalizing Elena's role as lead linguistic therapist." Marissa nodded, voice trembling. "Elena, she broke off, swallowing. "I owe you an apology. I was wrong." Elena inclined her head. "You saw only a cleaning lady. I hope you see me now as someone who believes in him." Marissa rose and approached Elena, closing the gap between them. She offered her hand. Elena hesitated. This was more than an alliance. It was the moment the mantle of authority passed. Then Elena placed both hands over Marissa's in a gesture of reconciliation. "Thank you, Marissa," said, voice thick with emotion. She turned to Ethan. "Do you forgive me for not listening?" The boy nodded, stepping into his mother's arms. He pressed his cheek to hers. "I just needed you to hear me," he murmured. Behind them, Dr. Patel pocketed the tablet. He cleared his throat. "The next step is funding and research approval. We'll draft a proposal for publications and a foundation." Marissa straightened, resolve returning. "Yes, we'll launch a pilot program in our foundation. Elena will design the curriculum. I'll provide the resources." Elena exhaled, relief flooding her features. "I have one condition," she said softly. Marissa met her gaze. "What is it that Ethan and every child like him never be defined by a diagnosis, but by their potential? That respect guides every lesson." Marissa bowed her head in agreement. "It's done." Ethan pulled back, eyes bright. "Are we a team?" he asked, voice full of hope. Elena knelt beside him. "Always." In the weeks that followed, the Caldwell estate transformed. the once silent halls filled with laughter in 9 languages. Videos of Elena's methods and Ethan's breakthroughs went viral. Leading universities reached out. Marissa became an outspoken advocate for inclusive education. Dr. Patel published the data in a peer-reviewed journal. But in this moment, the decision room beneath ancestral portraits, the real victory was personal. A mother learned to listen, a child reclaimed his voice, and a hidden genius stepped from the shadows to rewrite the rules of possibility. 6 months later, the Caldwell Mansion is alive with chatter in 9 languages, as children from around the world log into Speaking with Ethan on YouTube, 1.8 million subscribers and climbing. Elena stands center stage at the International Language Symposium, Ethan by her side as co-presenter. He greets the audience in Arabic, German, and Japanese, his confidence radiating through the auditorium. Top universities fight for her to lead their research departments, while Marissa's foundation funds pilot programs in public schools nationwide. 2 years on the Elena and Ethan Institute has transformed the lives of over 12,000 children diagnosed with selective mutism. Dr. Patel's peer-reviewed paper in Nature Neuroscience shattered misconceptions about untreatable autism and global media names Elena the Whisperer. Yet for both of them, the greatest triumph remains simple: a mother who learned to listen and a boy who found his voice. If this story moved you, subscribe for more real-life breakthroughs that defy every expectation. Hit like if you believe talent can't be silenced, and share in the comments whose voice will you help unlock today. Don't miss what comes next. Ring the bell and join us on the front lines of possibility.